If you wish to speak to any item on the agenda or during the public comment portion of the meeting, please fill out a speaker card. Each person addressing the board shall have 3 minutes to complete his or her comments on each agenda item for which he or she has filled out a card. The chair has the discretion to determine or alter the time limits on any agenda item. The Board of County Commissioners requests that speakers appearing under the public comment section of the agenda limit their comments or presentations to matters relating to county business that are within the board's control, authority, and jurisdiction.
Okay, I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first item on the agenda is,
Invocation?
yeah, I don't see,
It was,
do we have a pastor here for invocation? Yes, good, okay. Oh, it was a separate piece of paper. All right. This is Pastor Tim Franklin from Freedom Christian Center is going to lead us in the invocation today.
Thank you. Father, we thank you for your presence here, and we know that you also rule in the affairs of men. And as you have declared in your word, the house is built by wisdom and by understanding it's established. And so we just say, come by the power of your Spirit, fill this place with your wisdom. Let there be understanding. And Lord, at the end of the day, let there be peace on each one's heart. We ask all this in your precious Son's name. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Commissioner Atkinson, for bringing that to my attention. Okay, our first item is D1, minutes for approval, November 18th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
second?
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, by the way, we have
Yeah.
Commissioner Goodson with us on the phone, and we just heard him
Do
chime
we
in.
need a motion? Okay.
Yes.
Second.
I'll make the motion for Commissioner Goodson to participate by phone.
There's a motion and a second to authorize Commissioner Goodson to participate by phone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Aye, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Okay, now, item E, resolutions, awards, and presentation. We have none. F, consent agenda. We do have one card from a member of the public that wants to be heard on the consent agenda F4, so we'll pull that one off. Is there any other items on the consent that the board wishes to remove? Seeing none, a motion on the consent would
So
be in
moved.
order. Is motion?
Second.
Second. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we will revert back to the one item that we have a card on, and that's item
Oh, that's questions only?
questions only. Okay. That's what it says, questions only. Okay, does anyone have any questions on F4?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion.
I'll second.
Second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries. Okay. Okay. We are now on item G, which is the public comment portion of the first public comment portion on our agenda. Do we have any public comment cards? We have no public comment cards on item G. H1, with public hearing, none. I, unfinished business, approval for transfer of parcels. I'd like to let the staff introduce the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Back in December, the board voted and directed the EELS program to look at the transfer of these parcels to their management. They subsequently did, and the Selection and Management Committee also reviewed it, made a unanimous motion to recommend the transfer. Before you have an agenda item that would approve the transfer. As part of the SMC's approval, they did a request to waive transfer fees. So to honor that request, you have an option of either waiving those fees or moving forward with just transfer fees of about $57,270 to pay the general fund back what was paid to utilities back in 2014. Third item is to authorize EELS program to enter into a Friends of agreement with the not-for-profit. Fourth is to authorize the Parks and Rec Director to sign said agreement, renewals, modifications. And fifth is to authorize the county manager to execute all necessary actions to complete the transfer.
Okay, do we have any questions?
No, I'll just say,
Do cards.
that's what I wanted to do. I was going to say this is my item, so I'll close on it
Okay.
after the cards. Okay, sir.
All right, good. We have Anita and Tom Unrath. Might as well call you together. Y'all can come on up.
Thank you very much for considering this. Start off with a couple of things. One, I'm a pastor, and as I mentioned at the very beginning of this whole thing 9 years ago, God created the world, I believe, and said, take care of it. And so thank you for the opportunity that you have given us, and especially the previous members of the board, Kurt Smith especially, and back at that time. There was, Margaret Mead, anthropologist, said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. We hope that we've been able to be part of that tradition, but we could not have done it at all without help of a lot of people, especially Virginia Barker. We really thank, she was assigned as our point of contact with the county, and she has done an absolutely phenomenal job. We want to thank her and her staff most especially, as well as Mike Knight and his staff, the Selection and Management Committee that came out, looked at the property, and then made the recommendation that we move forward to transfer the property to the EEL. And there's a guy who's not here, will not be here physically at all. His name is George Rosenfield. He died at 100 years plus, but he was here speaking 10 years ago saying that he thought that this property should be set aside for this kind of purpose that EEL is doing. He said his phrase in that was in perpetuity. So thank you for allowing him to see from wherever he is that this is going forward. And we appreciate all that you have and will be in a moment doing.
Do I get my 3 minutes? Anita Unrath. I would like to thank our board members, past and present. We have had 20 people in the past help us. They've moved to places like North Carolina, Alaska, gone in the Coast Guard, and one is an Army veterinarian now. She was on our board when she was a student at Eastern Florida college here for 2 years. Another is going into environmental engineering. I encourage you also to please vote in favor of this agenda item. As Tom said, it takes a village, and we do have this wonderful team. We've also had some wonderful contractors that I would like to tell you about because they did some awesome work. One is Roberto Bellotti of Suntree Landscaping. He mowed the trails for us these past 9 years. Another is Rick Cockrell of Superior Aquatics. He has sprayed the Category 1 invasive Kogan grass. We didn't know anything about Kogan grass. We knew about Brazilian pepper trees, but Kogan grass could have taken over all of 100-acre hollows. And he's been out there at least twice a year. You have to spray it twice a year to make sure it goes away. Unfortunately, it grows by underground rhizomes, and so it may come back in other areas, but we've tried to do what we could to cut back the Kogan grass. The gopher tortoises need their grass, and Kogan grass would totally take over. We want to thank LEW Construction for cutting back and pulling out invasive Brazilian pepper trees 3 years ago, and they all gave us a good nonprofit price, so thank you very much to all of them. We want to thank other people who have helped us, Lishan and Yuliang Wang, Yuliang was a young man who did our app to geolocate the gopher tortoise burrows that we've used over the years. And there have been many people who have volunteered to cut down Brazilian pepper trees and vines. There have been numerous people who have supported us financially. We've been supported by individuals and some grants. The organizations that have supported us are the California Turtle and Tortoise Club. In our first year, they saw us online and sent us $250, which was such a gift at that point when we had like no money. And we've also had help from the Space Coast Audubon Society, planting a garden in the south. The Keep Brevard Beautiful grant, we did another garden and a rain pavilion with rain barrels. The Gannett Foundation gave us money, a grant one year. We got recycled plastic picnic tables and benches. And recently, the Community Foundation for Brevard for the Moby mats that we just installed, and the Gopher Tortoise Council for an educational grant that we received. We've had 5 Eagle Scout projects and 3 Girl Scout projects out there. They made kiosk benches, educational signs, and bat houses. And I also want to thank the Brevard Zoo, which has been an amazing partner. They bring out homeschool groups every year, and they also cut Brazilian pepper trees for the giraffes and the goats. So thank you so much to all of those people who helped us, and we hope that you will vote in favor of this, and we hope that that we've made you proud that a small group of people could do such a thing to help our county. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your good work. Commissioner Feltner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, this has been a long time in the making. I've certainly accelerated it since I've been here, and since we have the EELS program. I think the season was right to do this, so I appreciate your support today. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion if there isn't other discussion. So first, to approve the transfer of the identified parcels. Part of my motion will be to pay the $57,270 to general fund, and I think that's probably the best land deal in this century that we're gonna have for 114 acres. Authorize EELS to enter into agreement with the Friends of 100 Acre Hollows, and then authorize Parks and Recreation Department Director to endorse the agreement and any amendments that need to be made, and then finally authorize the county manager to execute all necessary budget amendments. That's
Second.
Okay, motion in 2 seconds. Any discussion, any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Got
Thank
a
you,
fifth one.
Commissioner
That's
Goodson.
good.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, our next item is J1.
Good morning, Commissioners. J1 is a resolution authorizing the county manager to execute all necessary documents to request a release of entry for exploration of phosphate minerals, metals, and petroleum reservation and rights from the Board of Trustees of the International Improvement Fund of the state of Florida. Back in July, the board approved the purchase of a 72-acre wetland within the Jefferson Marsh mosquito impoundment area in Merritt Island. During the title search, an exception came up that there was a 1940s deed restriction which has this mineral rights requirement. And so what we're asking now is to submit an application to the state to release that right of entry, not the underlying rights themselves. It effectively means that the state will not come in on the property, but we can't mine for these materials. And finally, we proceeded with the purchase in consultation with the county attorney's office because of the minimal risk, but looking for your permission to request this release at this time.
Okay. All right. Any questions, any discussion? Motion would be in
I'll make a
order.
motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pardon me?
No comment.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
Okay. Next item, J2. I'd like staff to present this item.
All right, this is an item that has evolved a little bit since it was added to the agenda. It involves the St. John's Heritage Parkway and a potential a support of Palm Bay and the acquisition of a segment of the future Parkway extension that ultimately will connect it from its terminus out west on Malabar Road now, down south to Babcock, somewhere north of where Micco is. City of Palm Bay took this up at their meeting Thursday night, and they unanimously proceeded with a resolution proposed by the applicant on it. As you all know, the St. John's Heritage Parkway is a regionally significant transportation corridor intended to improve east-west mobility, enhance emergency evacuation capacity, and reduce congestion on parallel arterial roadways, including Babcock Street. There is an ACE study, Alternative Corridor Evaluation Study, evaluating potential parkway alignments between Babcock Street to Malabar Road. The proposal before you would involve the westernmost segment of that alignment, the easternmost segment of that alignment just west of Babcock Street. It's within the jurisdiction of the City of Palm Bay. Now, the original proposal before you was a joint resolution that purports to be an agreement where the county and city agree to certain terms, and it states that resolution, if adopted by the county and city, would become an agreement between them and between a private party who's going to fund any potential eminent domain action that might need to be taken to acquire that property. Just last night, I received an email from Scott Knox, who represents the private party Rolling Meadows Ranch that's proposing to provide the financial backing for this acquisition. And he stated, and I would agree, that because the subject property lies within the City of Palm Bay, the county's approval of this resolution is not necessary for the city to proceed and exercise its condemning authority. Palm Bay has the absolute authority to condemn the property in the event statutory offer and negotiation process called for in the resolution does not result in a negotiated purchase of the property without the county. What they're really asking for is a show of solidarity and support from the county. So my recommendation, if the county commission is interested in proceeding and thinks this is a good thing to do and secure that segment of the future alignment of the parkway, would be to consider directing me to prepare a resolution similar to the joint resolution put forth in your agreement, but modifying it to show that it's not intended to be an agreement of the county as far as a contractual agreement, but rather a show of support for Palm Bay's ultimate acquisition of the parkway segment. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this item. And if the board approve that, approve and authorize the chair to execute the appropriate resolution. Okay.
I think it would be appropriate that we show solidarity with the city. It is a regionally significant roadway, and this is good news that we're working together with the city to make it happen. It also has a significant impact on a potential future school site, which is a public benefit as well. So this would encourage them to proceed. So I think a motion would be in order. Got a card, I think, we do have one card, yes. We have one card if you wanted to say a few words, Tuck.
I'm here for the Friends of the Parkway. And our group started working on this actually in 1982. We worked hard to run the parkway from the airport to Malabar Road, and we'd like to see it continue because it's going to be needed as a transportation connector and corridor. It's a critical thing. And we almost didn't build Wickham Road. When it was first built, it was called the Road to Nowhere. Really, people laughed about it. You need transportation, and people in the South County need to get to I-95. This is a critical plan, and the interchange is there. This will connect to the interchange. Goes right across Babcock Street It's a critical thing to happen, and we support it. And Mr. Machado got caught in traffic. John Sartori's here. We have a lot of support for this, and a lot of support in the South County area. So I'd really appreciate your support on this, because Palm Bay has agreed 5-0 to support the thing because it's really needed. Thank you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Kind of ironic, isn't it? He couldn't make the meeting for Palm Bay Parkway project because he got stuck in traffic in South Brevard. So appropriate. Makes a real statement. Okay, Commissioner Feltner, I think I saw you. Did you have a?
No, sir. I had said earlier to Tuck, it's been a long time since we've seen each other, but when I worked for the legislature, and you were there too, I think nine or 10 sessions, the legislature appropriated money for the St. John's Heritage Parkway. So it's been many years in the making.
Commissioner Atkinson.
So this is down my way, and I've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of people that I know down there about it. And one of the things that kept coming up was an evacuation route. Everybody thinks that it's going to be a real positive thing for lots of reasons, but that in particular. So I would like to make a motion to approve, and yes, thank you,
just for
Morris.
some clarification,
Yep.
I would recommend that the motion be that the county commission adopt a resolution showing support of the city of Palm Bay's action to move forward with acquisition of that property in partnership with the private party Rolling Meadows Ranch, and direct me to prepare a resolution to that effect and authorize the chair to sign.
Thank you. So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Feltner. Yes, it's been a long time coming. Gracious, I can remember way back when Charlie Crist was governor, he approved, I don't know, $10, $15 million. Thank you, Charlie, for that. It's been a team effort with a lot of different organizations, and this is a big step forward for it. So, okay, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Tuck. And next item on the agenda will be J3.
Good
Appointment of a
morning.
member of the Titusville-Cocoa Airport Authority. We have one card, John Hoppingarden, and another card just for questions from Ty Moore. Yeah, let's have staff give a presentation before you get started to frame the,
Go right ahead.
I have a bad habit of just jumping in, you know.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This item is to appoint a member to the Titusville-Cocoa Airport Authority who is appointed jointly by County Commissioners District 1, 2, and 4.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, I had an opportunity late yesterday to do a little research, and it looks like in 1995, then Commissioner Truman Scarborough actually asked for an Attorney General opinion construing the language in the special act jointly appoint, or that they be appointed jointly by those commissioners. There's certainly a reading of that would require a consensus or no dissent or unanimous approval, but Attorney General at the time, Bob Butterworth, issued an opinion in response to Commissioner Scarborough's inquiry and opined that the at-large member of the Titusville-Cocoa Airport District who is to be appointed jointly by the county commissioners for districts 1, 2, and 4 should be chosen by a process in which all 3 commissioners participate, but the member need not be selected unanimously. So, whatever is the board's pleasure when it comes time, it's just those 3 members that would be involved in the selection. It could be either by consensus if they're all in agreement, or it could be by a vote. It doesn't need to be unanimous to appoint a member to that at-large seat.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
So does that mean only 3 of us are voting?
Yes, only 1, 2, and 4.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, John. You have the floor.
Okay. John Hoppingarden. You all know me from my wonderful political career and also from my being on the Planning and Zoning Board. But I'm here today about the appointment for the Titusville-Cocoa Airport. A lot of you don't know that I spent many years in aviation as a project manager for numerous airport projects. I started when I was in the Air Force, and where I'm a decorated combat veteran, and I'm a graduate architect, and I was the construction manager and designer for numerous airport projects nationally and internationally. I'll give you some examples. Hobby Airport in Houston, Bush Intercontinental in Houston, El Paso in Texas, Logan Airport in Boston, Cleveland Airport in Ohio, Santa Barbara Airport, California, Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, and Sde Dov Airport in Israel. The projects ranged from $1 million to $650 million. I worked on the design for hangars, terminals, passenger gates, hard stands, aprons, maintenance facilities, baggage handling, runway extensions, concession areas, storm drainage, fire protection and detection, docking systems for visual gates, apron lighting, cathodic protection for fuel systems, earthworks, loading bridges. I could go on and on and on. I've done it all. Under the Y Accords in the Middle East, I was assigned to do 2 training facilities for the Israeli Air Force for F-15s and the Black Hawk helicopter systems with simulators, flight simulators. We were putting those in also. I also did a training school for Scandinavian Airlines for all their management personnel. Besides all that, I've done warehouses, I've done office buildings, industrial parks, parking garages, and hotels, all Air Force related. Administratively, I was country manager for Parsons Brinkerhoff, a large engineering firm back in the day, 12,000 engineers. And I was also the procurement agent for getting 2 airports in Cyprus under a BOT, a Build, Operate, Transfer program, which is like a private-public partnership. Let's see. Designed a computer system. Oh boy, I'm running out of time. I'm a licensed real estate broker, commercial, and I'm out of time. But I just wanted to say, if I can take 2 seconds, that I made a lot of money doing all this kind of work. I'm offering it to you for all this knowledge that I have for free. So please consider me for this position. Thanks for your vote.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think that those are, we have one card for questions only with Time Moore. So,
I'd like to make a motion if there's no discussion.
I'd like to make,
yeah, Commissioner Goodson?
yes, I'd like to make a motion, sir.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to nominate Ty Moore, who runs a business out of Merritt Island. He is a young gentleman, and that's what we need to promote since all of us are getting older.
Point of order.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner?
I was just wondering, since I mentioned I wanted to make a motion first, if that, what the order of that would be.
Well, since the Commissioner was on the phone, I wanted him to give an opportunity to make a comment when he mentioned it. So we have 2 commissioners wanting to make a motion. Why don't,
I
Morris,
think you go
can you
to
chime
her.
in?
I think you go to her motion
from a
first.
parliamentary procedure, the person who mentions it first, so.
I would
I think our
take up her
treasurer is
motion
it.
and see if there's a second,
Okay.
but only among the 3 who vote on the
Right,
side.
right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve John Hoppingarden to this seat.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? And remind it would be the only 3 commissioners from North Brevard. Okay, motion dies for lack of second. Commissioner Goodson, you have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Time Moore.
There's a motion for Ty Moore. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second.
I'd like to have discussion.
Discussion?
I have a lot of concern about this because I didn't really see a whole lot of experience. And when you have somebody who's put their name in with, decades and decades of experience, I think that it would put our airport in a much better situation to add this type of experience onto our board with Mr. Hoppengarden. And I understand, I'm the young one on this board, so I understand bringing youth into these situations, but I'm also highly in favor of making sure the most qualified person is put into these positions. And I would have to believe that Mr. Hoppengarden is that person.
Okay, is there any further debate? Yes.
I'll say something
Commissioner
there.
Feltner.
So, known Ty a long time. I think I first met him when he was 4. I think he's a very impressive young man. I'd appreciate what you said about experience. I would note that it's an accomplishment to have 800 flight hours in a cockpit. He is working towards his multi-engine rating and hopes to be an instructor as a multi-engine pilot, and is running a small airline. So I think he's got a very interesting perspective, and I appreciate the experience that he has and in his education. I think he'll be a great addition to the board.
If I may. While I understand that, we have a lot of pilots on this board already, and so it would be, in my opinion, it would be better to diversify the type of experience and knowledge we have on this board, especially with all the growth and expansion and whatnot. Flying a plane is great, and it's, obviously extremely, accomplished, and that's a fantastic skill. But it might be a good idea to have somebody on this board who has decades of experience with expansion and with revitalizing airports. And I just want to put it out there because it needs to be put out there. This person's father is Kendall Moore. So, I'm curious about this, and, especially this airport. I understand it's a joint appointment, but this airport is in my district. And, I would never step on your guys' toes in your district.
Well, what all airports are under the Titusville-Cocoa Airport Authority?
I think Merritt Island's
I think so too. Isn't Merritt Island part
Aren't
of
there
that?
2 out of the 3, though, in District 1?
It's Arthur Dunn, Tyco, and Merritt Island Airport.
Right, 2 out of the 3 are in District 1, I believe.
Okay, I think Merritt Island is the equally significant part of the whole Tyco apparatus, so
Right,
I
but the-
appreciate your...
Space Coast Regional is the biggest. It's the, it's...
Ty, do you fly out of Titusville on a regular basis?
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
Good morning, Ty Moore. And I originally did not prepare comments, but if there's time available, I could definitely like to make some, and I'm available for questions. Oh, well, good morning, Ty Moore. I did originally apply for the position on the board. I'm a patron and a user of both Merritt Island and Titusville Airport for probably the last 18 years now. I am an aircraft owner. I have an aircraft at Merritt Island. I also manage 2 additional family aircraft at Merritt Island. As you know, professionally, I own a company that buys, sells, and manages Embraer jets predominantly. So when we bring clients in for Embraer tours or they're looking at purchasing real estate in the county, we do use Space Coast Regional and give Karsten and Wendy business, as they've been really good to us at Space Coast Executive Jet Center over the years. In addition, and this isn't to speak negatively on the other candidates, but I can add something that the other candidates don't currently do. The board or the other candidates have skill sets that the board has already demonstrated to be fully competent at. One, a highly experienced commercial real estate developer, whereas the board has demonstrated their competency in one of the most recent developments, the River Flying Condos, a collaboration, and the hangars that they intend to build at Merritt Island, and the other applicant, an airline pilot at JetBlue, I believe, which Mr. Craig, who is on the board, who is also a pilot, already has that position. But what I can add, one, as Commissioner Goodson mentioned, a perspective from the next generation, which is something that the board currently does not possess. And two, we have general aviation covered, we have airlines covered, we have the commercial real estate covered, but on the business aviation side, I don't believe there's somebody that currently sits in that position, and business aviation is an integral part of growth in any airport ecosystem, especially at smaller airports, which I have experience operating in and out of. Those are my comments, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, those are all our cards. We'll bring it back to the board. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, debate? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Well, I can't vote. We can't vote, can we? I'd have it. Okay, there's a motion.
Nay.
2 in favor, Commissioner Feltner, Goodson, and 1 against. So passes.
Commissioner Delaney against.
Yes. Commissioner Delaney against. It passes 2-1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, our next item is J4, Annual Investment Performance Report, year end in September 30th, 2025. And County Finance Department, thank you for being here.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Mark Peterson with Brevard County Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller County Finance Department. And I have here with me today Richard Bengali with Public Financial Management and our Chair of the Investment Committee. And one of our employees here is Andrew Walcott. This item is requesting the board to accept the Brevard County Annual Investment Report. This report has been prepared by the county's investment advisor and county finance as required by the county's investment policy, BCC 49, which is in compliance with Florida statutes, and approved by the county's investment committee, which is comprised of citizens of the county. They approved it at their last quarterly meeting. The county's earnings in 25 was, as you can see here, was $63 million. In 24, we earned $50 million. A large part of that is because of where interest rates have been. Interest rates are starting to decline. So it's not promising that we'll continue to get that, but we've earned $63 million, and that $63 million has been allocated amongst the various funds. So whatever cash is in whatever funds, be it soil or fire rescue or solid waste or utilities, that money goes back to those respective funds that had the cash balances. So we're not taking the money and putting it in one area. It's being allocated amongst 160 different funds. And board departments do budget for this on an annual basis. That is part of their budget. So in earning $63 million, it helps to keep costs or replace basically revenue that normally, depending upon where the markets were, would be affected in their budget. We have in the portfolio, the county's portfolio is broken up into 3 areas. We have the short-term portfolio, we have the long-term portfolio, and the MACM portfolio. And each of them has its unique characteristics. The short term is investments that are less than a year, which is at year end, at September 30th, was almost $420 million. That's what we use to meet payroll, accounts payable, and make weekly payments. The interest that we earned last year on the short-term portfolio was 4.11%. Then we have the long-term and also the short-term portfolio is managed by county finance. We manage that and dealing with the daily banking. The long-term portfolio is in the 1 to 3 year area. We had $589 million, and it earned 4.47%. That portfolio is overseen by PFM, our investment advisor. They've got the expertise. They've been doing this for a number of years. They only work with governments, which is an added benefit because governments are very unique in what we can do. Then we have the MACM portfolio, which is multi-asset class management portfolio. This gets into index funds, equities. At year end, we had $148 million there. We earned 12%, which is a lot greater than both the long-term and short-term. Where that benefit came in is because of the equities. Probably about 8 years ago, this commission approved us to go and start investing in MACM. And it was to try to beat inflation. If inflation is 4%, 5%, and we're earning 3% and 4%, we're behind. And so adding this MACM portfolio actually helps us be competitive. It's a small piece of the total, $149 million out of $1 billion portfolio. So we're not throwing everything into one area, which also is a benefit in that when the economy is good, we might have short-term outperforming the benchmark. If we're long-term, things go like a roller coaster. It's up and down. We never know where things are going to go, but we're trying to protect the public's money. The short-term portfolio, everything is diversified. We see here in the pie chart to the left, it's in local government investment pools. It's in banks. It's in CDs. So we don't have all the money in one area. The long-term portfolio, there in the upper right corner, you see we're in U.S. Treasuries, corporates, agencies. So we're very diversified. So any one area, depending upon the economy, might get hit harder than another, but generally one area will do better, one area is less. So it compensates for that. And let Richard say a few words as far as, I wanted to show you, here's kind of the history of this last year. Rich is going to talk about where we think some of the factors that we're having to weigh in on in this coming year with the markets.
Great. Thank you, Mark, commissioners. As Mark said, kind of using different words, the past performance over the past fiscal year was very good. And in fact, over the past couple of years, we've seen pretty good performance driven by a fairly strong and growing economy. And underlying that has really been a strong consumer. About 2/3 of the U.S. economy is driven by consumers and consumer spending. So when we're thinking about the outlook from here and what we expect in the coming fiscal year, we really pay attention to what the consumer is looking like and what the outlook is for the consumer among economists and businesses, and also what business conditions look like for corporations. And both of those look fairly strong. Consumer balance sheets, as they are now, look fairly strong. The same thing with corporate corporate balance sheets. We're getting a lot of earnings information recently, and that continues to support this idea that companies are in a good place and their outlook is good in the near term. So we don't really forecast, and economists and market participants don't forecast that we'll have the same strong performance that we've seen, kind of outsized performance that we've seen over the past 3 years, but that things look good, at least for the next fiscal year. In terms of how we're positioning your investments, we have a neutral positioning on your portfolios, given that sort of moderate kind of outlook in the near term. So with that, I'll pass it back to Mark.
Let me introduce you to, I'm sure many of you know, Bob Sox is the chairman of our investment committee. So I've asked him to come and say a few things.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. I just briefly want to thank Mark Peterson, Andrew Walcott, the Brevard County Clerk of the Court staff, and PFM Asset Management for the success that we have had. I have been on the committee for 6 years, was elected chairman last year. Very proud to present these results to the commission. I think the results are excellent, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
And I'll finalize before the board approves this. Clerk Sadoff could not be here today. She had a previous appointment that she couldn't make it, but she really would have liked to have been here, but she just sends her regards. So that's the report. If there's any questions that we can answer, I entertain that.
Do we have any questions?
Chairman, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say thank you so much to Mark and your team for coming today. When we got this briefing, I really felt like this was information that the public would like to know. It's a question that I get all the time is, what are we doing with all the money that we have? Are we investing it? And you guys are doing an incredible job, and I just wanted to get this out there for the public to see. This is some great stuff that we're doing here. So thank you guys so much, not only for your hard work, but for doing this presentation.
Thank you.
And it's a lot of money. Any other questions? Question I have, do we invest in Bitcoin?
No. 1 year, I did have a question from a commissioner who said, can we invest in gold? It's like, no, we don't take on anything speculative. So the things that we have, I mean, the primary thing in our policy is safety. That's number one. And then liquidity, and then return. And it's in that order. So we're not going to assume risks that would jeopardize the county's investments.
I know that being involved with the state government, we have investment strategies and what have you, and it's a big chunk of money. We've made some decisions not to invest in certain countries that promote terrorism, anti-Semitism, apartheid, other things. Are we involved in that? Do we follow the lead of the state on those type of decisions? Or do we have a sort of a not laissez-faire private? How are we different in that regard?
The board's policy, which again complies with Florida statutes, indicates that we have to identify, here's the things that we are allowed to invest in. And over the years, there's been times that we've come back to the board after the investment committee has done lengthy vetting of the process and said, yes, we want to invest in this. Then we would come back before the board, and via an ordinance, we would then be able to invest in something. Again, the speculation of getting in some governments or dealing with some entities, I believe there's some governments that actually invest in foreign bonds Richard can address
I can
that.
add on that. So we don't invest by policy, company policy, any of the companies that are on the scrutinized company list that the state puts out. Again, because we only invest in governments, we, are very aware of the headline risk associated with those. So even though it's not a requirement, that's a state requirement, it doesn't flow down to the local governments, we don't do it at that level. And then most of those companies don't really issue large public debt, so they wouldn't even meet our criteria for the types of investments, large public liquid investments that we invest in anyway.
And one other quick question I have, will be my final one, and I do appreciate you being here. I know in making investment decisions, do we ever choose to invest in areas that have a benefit for our region? For example, aerospace investment versus industries that might be in the other side of the country, provide capital in those entities that are promoting our local economy. Is that ever a factor?
I would say no.
No, yeah, it's not part of your policy.
Okay. If we wanted to make that a policy, would we have the ability to do that?
That's
a good question
on
Okay.
that.
No, we can follow up.
So there was some legislation passed in 2023 that limited the sort of creating sort of extra criteria outside of purely pecuniary factors. So that's sort of traditional credit metrics. What's the financial stability of a particular type of investment? So, what you're asking for local investment, which may be a little outside of that. So we'd kind of have to research that, whether that would go in violation of the law.
It wouldn't necessarily be local, but it would be if we
prioritize those industries that are local,
yeah, high tech, or it could be a company in Seattle. There's one out there, a couple of them, but it has a role. Just a thought. I'm not advocating anyway. More, we have this brains trust here. I wanted to ask those questions. Jim, I think did you grab for your mic when I?
He beat me to the answer. I'm sure there's state standards and certain laws and investment guidelines you would need to follow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to say something real quick. Appreciate you coming here today and doing this presentation and meeting with me earlier. We had a discussion. Obviously, inflation. We're all dealing with it. It's an interesting thing when I talk with folks that there's consumer inflation. We talked about this. You go to the store, you buy something, it's $1 more than it was a year ago. That's consumer inflation. But the inflation to local government is much higher than that. So you think of the things that we must do that the market doesn't do. Roads, bridges, these kinds of things, and the cost of those things year over year, or even replacing equipment. That's a tough thing that we're dealing with. So much higher, and so I greatly appreciate that you've found ways to get us a better return on our money. It isn't a nice thing. It's a necessary thing. So I appreciate your fiscal management for us. Thank you. I'd make a motion, sir, if that's where we are.
Second.
There's a motion second to approve the report, and any discussion, debate?
I just want to say thank you for the $63 million.
We certainly appreciate that, and your work and time, as well as our staff to supporting it. Our county's in good financial hands. So,
thank you.
All right, all in favor signify by saying yay.
Yay.
Aye.
Yay.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have no public comment cards on item K. That leads us to board reports. We'll start with the staff with Jim Lesfeld.
Mr. Chair, I passed out a letter. We sent out an email late. Let me pull up my thing. Sent out an email late yesterday. This is something that's been happening through the weekend. I received a call on Friday night from Secretary Tyler, who's the DOT District 5 Secretary. The state DOT is statewide is applying for a grant, which is the statewide advancement of future enhancements at intercity passenger rail crossings program. And so they've been asking for support. Each of the districts have been going to all their local governments asking for support. This is a grant that's going to target about 900 crossings statewide, and those are railroad crossings that have passenger rail service. So off the top of my head, that would be Brightline, Sunrail, Tri-Rail, Amtrak. I'm not sure if the streetcar in Tampa is in there, but so it's all throughout the state. Spoke to Secretary Tyler yesterday. Mark and Karina from Public Works have been on a phone call with City of Cocoa and DOT. Georgiana from the TPO has also been speaking with DOT. So this has been kind of going here and about. The way the grant would work would be if the state wins it or gets awarded, it's 80% federal, which is pretty typical. 20% would be the local match. DOT would provide their standard a local match. They provide half is 10%. Secretary Tyler said that they would be going to the railroad partners for half of that remaining 10%. So our match would be about 5%. So I asked the question, what is 5%? Is that $5 million? Is that $5? Right now, they're estimating that our local match would be somewhere around $150,000 over 5 years. And we're still double checking because that's with 49 different, let me make my notes, 49 different crossings. We already have some grants for some of the crossings, so it might be a little bit lower number. The letter you have there just talks about how we will work and support to come up with local match if necessary. The other letter talked about a hard match. I told them we couldn't do that. And I also told them we couldn't, I can't commit the county to anything that we can't fund. So the letter in front of you is just asking, it is asking you to support a letter to DOT for their grant application. Grant application is due February 6th, so this is kind of moving fast. Thought about it at the workshop, but you can't take the official action at a workshop, so the letter's there. When you look, you'll see there's the double X's on the number of railroad crossings because we're finalizing that. If you approve this letter, then I will have the finalized one for the chair on Thursday, or you can if you decide, you can have it where I have a copy where I can sign one and submit it on behalf of us to the DOT.
Just a quick question, just to clarify, anything that the would be appropriated in as part of the match from the county, we would bring back to the board.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to have some.
We're
going to have to have some sort of agreement with DOT.
Yeah. So this today, in and of itself, isn't an agreement so much as we're saying we're interested in DOT going out and seeking the funds.
This does not commit us to expending or allocating any funds of our own at this point.
If there's not other discussion, I'd make a motion for the chair to sign the letter.
So motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just curious, our county administrator is known for his very innovative dress. He's a furrow in the fashion of the flower fashion. Please show us what you're wearing underneath your jacket.
I don't know if you can see on camera. There we go. See, so I can. Oh wait a minute, he's already playing the video. There we go. So now you don't have.
Indiana, world war you, are you?
Thank you, Logan.
That was awesome.
Thank you. So, and I just have to say, everyone at the clerk's office can now spell Hoosier, right? So there you go.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Well, we congratulate you on a wonderful win, a storybook finish, probably one of the most historic college football seasons ever. Really excited that Indiana won, and it's great to have a county administrator with such roots, and it's really, really fantastic to have a Big Ten representative here that now I've become a family of the Big Ten, with my son working for Illinois, so we're going to root for the Big Ten. Okay. Hopefully, Indiana will be second place next year.
Yeah, there you go. And I did look it up. They're not playing Illinois next year.
Oh, we have Ohio State.
And there is an Ohio State grad. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're really well represented here, aren't we? But again, it's been awesome. Appreciate your spirit and joy. And I know it's great to have staff so involved, being a big college football fan. We have some staff from another school down where the one you beat, shellacked.
Yes.
Trounced. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a.
Yeah, I won't mention Alabama, so.
So thank you very much for that good report.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Okay, County Attorney Morris Richardson.
No report, Mr. Chair.
No report.
I can't
Don't want to
beat
mention
that.
Vanderbilt's, no, we won't even go there, so.
They had a great season by Vanderbilt standards.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Commissioner Delaney.
Thank you. I just wanted to give some upcoming opportunities for residents to stay engaged and for their voices to be heard. Our first budget workshop is coming up January 29th. That's this Thursday at 1 o'clock. And if you can't come, it will be live streamed, so you'll be able to watch that in the comfort of your home. And if you don't want to sit through the 4-hour meeting, feel free to Zoom over, 3 hours in or something, and come and give us your public comments. It's going to be a lot of really good information. I believe we're going to be talking public works, stormwater, and utilities. And so those are, things that, especially, in my district, it is always a topic of conversation. And then on January 30th, we're going to be, we aren't, the FDEP is going to be holding the public hearing for the Blue Origin wastewater discharge permit renewal. That is going to be at 3696 Lake Drive in Cocoa from 4 to 7. Unfortunately, the FDEP decided not to move the meeting to allow for more people to come, but luckily the county staff, thank you so much. You guys have opened up some overflow parking, and so hopefully we'll be able to get as many people as possible in that room, and so that you can bring your comments to FDEP. We also just recently had with FDOT on February, we just recently had a meeting with FDOT about the 524 expansion, and that was incredible. I mean, we probably had 150 people show up to that meeting, so thank you so much, D1, for showing up to that and, really being engaged in that conversation. Your comments will be, you can still write written comments until February 2nd, and I have a Substack, Katie Delaney Substack, that gives you all the information about the project and the links to where you can submit those comments to FDOT. Also, for the FDEP meeting, they have extended public comment to February 6th. I also have a Substack article on that where you can find all the links to get your written comments in if you can't get to this meeting. And then, of course, Speak Up Brevard deadline is January 31st, which it's coming up. As of today, we have 34 submissions. And I just wanted to talk about, I'll be bringing back up for consideration a workshop. And I just wanted to mention, I'm sure that, I feel pretty confident. I knew Susan pretty well, and she would definitely be flattered with the naming of the program after her. But in my opinion, what she'd really feel honored about is to make this program the best it could be. And so I hope that I get support for that in the future. And I was wondering if, County Manager, if you had any updates about the PFAS notification and the potential website and how that's going?
Yes, Commissioner, we've had a couple meetings, and we'll be ready to present to you guys a proposed website on the February 10th board meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to let everybody know that I am going to be putting out an article on Substack following this meeting about PFAS and where you can find more information, the EPA links, so that you can get more informed for the care of your families. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. District 4, Commissioner Goodson. Did you have a question?
3. Oh, sorry, 2. He's 2.
2, I'm
I'm
sorry, 2. I'm sorry about that. Commissioner Goodson.
No report, sir.
Okay, thank you. I got confused. It was L4 and I read District 4.
Well, it didn't help that I said 3.
That's okay. Okay, District 3.
So-
Commissioner Atkinson.
I don't actually have a report, I have a request. So it looks like the fix 840 is kind of laying around. The Bill 1465 is not making it through its subcommittees. I've spoken to our state representatives, a few of them, not all of them, and all I keep hearing is there doesn't seem to be much interest. So what I'm asking is that any of our board members who have contacts, relationships with our state representatives, if you could just put a bug in their ear, because like we said before, this affects the whole county. But specifically, Commissioner Altman, I wanted to ask you in the sunshine, you worked really hard to get the area of state critical concern done. So if it's possible for you to take some time and to think about what I, as District 3, could be doing to help this process since I'm new, think about it and let me know. That would be fantastic.
Okay, well, first of all, I just want to thank you for your leadership and the great job you've done in advocating for the South Beaches and Brevard. It's abhorrent what the state has done to local planning and local governments with the Senate Bill 180. I've always felt, and many call it a mistake. Very few things happen by mistake up there, and I think it was a significant overreach of state government infringing upon people's ability to govern locally, and it's hurting our state dramatically. It's going to hurt our South Beaches. I appreciate you bringing this up, and I will personally reach out and just keep doing what you're doing. I'm surprised our governor hasn't become more active. He's had a strong track record of conservation in Florida, and hopefully he will step up and advocate for us. He did sign the bill into law, but maybe he got some bad advice. But I wonder, and I was going to ask Morris in relation to this, if our legislature doesn't come through for us, and it could be that they do come through for us. I don't want to prejudge, because these things are really intentionally held hostage up until the very end, and they become a significant negotiating point. Everybody in Tallahassee is always looking for an angle and leverage and something to barter with. It's like a third world market. Best analogy I could think of. But so that could be happening as well, so to continue to engage. But I was going to ask Morris, I know if this isn't resolved, and we talked about this early on in the process, but we wanted to give the legislature an opportunity to resolve it. But do we still have an opportunity to engage in the lawsuit? I think it's 1,000 Friends.
Potentially. I don't know that we would necessarily want to engage in that lawsuit. We have a unique circumstance with regard to the area of critical state concern, so we might want to discuss doing something, separately even that addresses our unique circumstances as well.
If I may.
Yes.
I know that the bill that Commissioner Atkinson that you referenced, that one is definitely very important, but I just wanted to kind of broaden this conversation a little bit, because there's a lot of bills up there right now that are targeting agriculture land especially, making it extremely easy for developers to come in and just do what they will. Also, there's a couple of bills up there right now that are targeting wetlands as well. And so I think that all of these things together are going to really change the dynamic of Florida, take away our home rule, which is constitutionally protected. And so I would be in heavy support of doing whatever it takes to protect our community.
Could I ask a technical question?
Yes.
You mentioned 1465. I think that's the bill number, right, in the House. That one's seems to be stalled, if you will.
Yep.
But there isn't an exact Senate companion, but there is a Senate version. Is that moving forward? I haven't looked recently.
The 840?
Yeah, I guess that's it.
It was doing well. I haven't looked at it in the last couple of
Okay.
days, so I don't know.
I mean, because, sometimes it is the situation that one chamber will do more work on a bill.
SB 840 is advancing toward the Senate Rules Committee. That's going to be its final stop before the Senate floor. 840 is by far the preferable of the alternatives to the House bill, but SB 840 seems to be the one with momentum.
Okay, so that's ready for rolls. That sounds like,
That would be much better for our situation.
Yeah.
Frankly, 1465 as written now wouldn't solve some of our issues.
so I'm just, Commissioner Altman knows better than me. He was up there, but I worked up there, and so the Senate's got their version ready to go. We're in favor of the Senate version, it sounds like, so far.
Yes.
And when it comes over, they do a strike all and they make them match up.
Yeah,
Done.
and that's a high probability.
That's the way it's starting to sound right now, so.
Well, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
We have a very good delegation, and I know they're working hard on it, so I think there's a good chance we at least get the area critical concern resolved, hopefully. And I just hope that they do the bigger picture and they really, really restore some of these planning, the planning authority local government has, because it has serious negative impacts on our open space, our wetlands, our agriculture, our green belt, 100% counter to what the general public or the legislature has been doing in recent years. Thank you for bringing this up. Okay. District 4, Commissioner Feltner.
Just what I said, sir, would be my report, if you will. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one item that I know, I guess it was the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we had a presentation on PACE, and we looked at the possibility of implementing the PACE program, and I think which is something we ought to look at, but our tax collector received an incredibly negative and threatening adversarial letter related to PACE, attacking her ability to comment and have public input, really, really attacking her ability and our ability to set minimum amounts of what we charge overhead. I was in disbelief where we put an olive branch out there trying to welcome this industry in lieu of all the past negativity and problems in the past. And we hadn't even scheduled a public hearing or talk about it, and they're already threatening and attacking and limiting our ability to have public dialogue, our constituents' ability to have the First Amendment rights. And we've always been this commission has always been very supportive of diversity of thought and ideas and encouraging debate. And I think we ought to just put this on hold until we resolve these attacks and these issues and these threats in this letter. I know I've talked to Morris about it. And I was going to ask the board to put it on hold until we resolve some of those issues.
I'd be in favor of that.
Do you need that in the way of a motion, or we just simply don't, I'm just asking a technical question, we just don't take it up? Is it because we went to sort of legislative intent? Is that what?
Right now, I have direction to research consumer protection measures and prepare a resolution to bring back to the board for consideration. For me to pause that, I would just want clear consensus direction from the board that I should stand down for now until the board directs otherwise.
I'd like to open up for conversation.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Personally, if we're in discussion, if it's
Same.
her, Commissioner Delaney's motion to, I don't know if we want to say permanently table it, or just, do we want to withdraw our prior motion? Is that, what do you need? Whatever.
That would be fine. I just have standing direction right
Okay.
now to proceed, so unless I'm told
okay.
otherwise,
I
I'm
didn't
going to
want to
proceed to bring it back.
I didn't want to put a burden on staff and for us to incur, the taxpayer incurring expenses when we're under a constitutional office. And I say we, because it is county government, it's kind of under attack right now. And if we look at consumer protections, probably the number one would be addressing the things that are brought up in this letter. I just thought it would send a strong message. Yes.
Quick question, I haven't seen the letter. Who's it actually from?
It's from the Florida PACE Funding Agency, their attorney, James Dinkins. It relates to prior litigation between tax collectors, which our tax collector wasn't a party to, but it really relates to financing that they issued previously. So the letter, isn't so much about going forward, but it was issued from, and that's so the gentleman who spoke at your last meeting, Chris Peterson, spoke on behalf of the same agency that the attorney represents that sent this letter to the tax collector, I believe the next day after our meeting.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
And it eerily brought up issues that we talked about. One of the things we talked about was what the clerk could charge on overhead costs to administer this program, and was threatening her to not have the statutory authority that she has. And I say we, because if she's incurring additional expense, it's costing us. So I don't know, we could, I just don't want Morris to be working in one direction and expending staff precious time and resources, knowing that we already are at odds with this industry and they're already threatening and attacking them.
Well, I think you had a motion by, no, I'm sorry, sir.
No, good.
I think
So moved.
It sounds like we're in agreement, so I would second her motion to pause this.
Yeah.
That would be
Just
fine.
to stop here.
Direction for me,
Permanently
I would
table.
understand that.
Okay. All right. So those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That passes unanimously, and we'll wait and see what happens with the.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I would just ask the clerk, could you please just prepare a memo to that effect to me? Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And that concludes my report, and I think it concludes a very good meeting. And thank you to the commission staff and the public. Meeting adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.